Start stream. Start recording. Make sure I've hit my inhaler enough so that way I don't have asthma attacks throughout this entire process. I've already lost it. Wonderful. That took no time at all. Welcome. Let me monitor. Yep. Looks good. Cool. Can hear myself. Gonna get back in the game. Alright. Crap. Okay. Alright. We have returned once again, and we are on page 645, maybe 646, of H.R. Bill 1, the Budget I don't know, Donald Trump's One Big Beautiful Bill Act. We are on page 646. Once again, the premise is I am speedrunning Fallout 4. I'm quick running Fallout 4. I'm doing a glitchless, not experienced, unskilled run where I try to beat it quickly, and I play it while also listening to this document. Here's probably what's going to happen today if things go how I would prefer them to. I think I'm very close to beating Fallout 4. I would like to hit page 700, preferably. And at that time, when I beat the game, I'm not going to stop reading forever, but I will take 2 or 3, maybe a week of days, 7 days off of streaming in general, and just focus on living my own life and being at peace for a little bit, because the school year has ended. I am officially unemployed for 2 months, and I'm going to spend that time relaxing, because I'm really stressed and need to relax. So, yeah, when I beat this, I'm going to take, like a week off of reading, and then I will come back and I'll play a variety of games, maybe more Fallout, maybe Minecraft, maybe Subnautica, who knows. I'll play other games while I attempt to finish out the other, 400 pages that'll be left over, which is going to be terrible. So, that is the plan. I am, from what I understand, very likely to beat the game today. But the issue is, some of the most important parts of this document are coming in right now and 100 pages from now. So it's a challenge for fun, but in reality I'm here to play the game and have some fun and also pay attention to the document and get something out of it. So I may stop one or trade one for the other at different periods in time, because this is not a real speedrun category, unsurprisingly.
Subtitle be Water, Wildlife, and
Okay.
Fisheries.
Alright, I'm loading up Fallout.
80,201.
We're starting on water, wildlife, and
Rescission of
fisheries.
funds for investing in coastal communities and climate resilience.
So this is nothing we didn't already know. They want to take away money from the concept of climate resilience.
Funds made available by Section 40001 of Public Law 117 to 169. SEC 80,202. Rescission of funds for facilities of NA. Oceanic and atmospheric.
Yep, taking away money from the NOAA is a stupid idea. Horrific idea.
There is hereby rescinded the unobligated balance of
horrible idea.
Made available by Section
We desperately depend on the health of our oceans. As a species, we depend on the health of our oceans. We depend on the ability to track weather fronts and predict things like the tornadoes that have been recently hitting certain areas.
80,203. Surface water storage enhancement.
Surface water.
In addition to amounts otherwise available, there is appropriated to the Secretary of the Interior, acting through the Commissioner of Reclamation for fiscal year. Appropriated to the Secretary of the Interior, acting 2025 out of any money in the Treasury not otherwise AP. Appropriated $2 billion to remain available through September 7, 30, 2034 for construction and associated AC activities that increase the capacity of existing Bureau of Reclamation surface water storage facilities in a manner
Okay, that's
as determined by the
reasonable
Secretary,
infrastructure,
provided
improving our
that,
ability
for
to
the
store water.
purposes
We
of
also
Section
just
203
improve our
of the
ability to
Reclamation
not
Reform Act
poison our water in the
of
first place.
1982, 43 U.S.C. 390 cubic centimeters, or Section 3404A of the Rec. Lamation Projects Authorization and Adjustment Act of 1992, Public Law 102 to 575, a contract or agreement in tiered into pursuant to this section shall not be treated as a new or amended contract. None of the funds provided under this section shall be reimbursable or subject to
YouTube, what are you talking about?
matching or cost
Sorry,
share
YouTube just said that
requirements.
it's not getting enough data.
SEC 80,204. Water conveyance enhancement.
13, 14
In
megabit.
addition to amounts
We're
otherwise
pretty
available,
much at the
there
right
is
upload speed.
appropriated
No,
to
it's
the
going higher.
Secretary of the
So
Interior, acting
chill out,
through the
YouTube.
Commissioner of Reclamation for fiscal year.
I'm just gonna assume that
Appropriated
we're
to the
getting enough
Secretary
data.
of the Interior, acting 2025 out of any money in the Treasury not otherwise AP. Appropriated $500 million
Looks fine.
to remain available through September 20.
All right, taking a look at this real quick. $2 billion to remain available through September 2034 for construction and associated activities that increase the capacity of existing Bureau of Reclamation Service water storage facilities. Cool. Saving more water. Good thing. We should be getting water from the rain as much as possible and our waterways as opposed to pulling from groundwater. Water conveyance enhancement. Oh, however, I need to understand that at scale, anything talking about saving water at an infrastructure level from the United States is guaranteedly for farmers and industry. It's not for normal people, because the amount of water that residential uses, even with the horrific existence of lawns in climates where lawns should not exist, residential water usage is like nothing compared to industrial and most notably agricultural water usage. So this is definitely water usage going to that. It's worth noting that monocrop agriculture, factory farming, and industrial agriculture it's more efficient with water than it used to be. It's still garbage compared to like more labor intensive methods. So, and also instead of just plowing a field, you could use permaculture. I'm just saying, like it uses way more water than permaculture, so it makes sense that with the pro-industry stance that this entire administration has taken, it makes sense that they'd want to increase the amount of surface water that farmers have access to. Because as much as they want to deny the existence of climate change, it's still happening, and certain parts of the U.S. are drying up and other parts are getting wetter.
Appropriated to the Secretary of the Interior, acting through the Commissioner of Reclamation for fiscal year. Appropriated to the Secretary of the Interior, acting 2025 out of any money in the Treasury not otherwise AP. Appropriated $500 million to remain available through September 25th, 30, 2034 for construction and associated AC. 26 activities that restore or increase the capacity of existing BOO. Row of reclamation conveyance facilities in a manner as determined by the Secretary. None of the funds provided under this section shall be reimbursable or subject to matching or cost
I need to
share
level up that
requirements.
much. What's going on?
Subtitle C. Federal Lands.
Still can't
SEC
punch harder. I'd love to, though.
80,301. Prohibition on the implementation of the Rock Springs Field Office, WIO. Ming Resource Management Plan. The Secretary of the Interior shall not implement, add, minister, or enforce the record of decision and approved Resource Management Plan referred to in the notice of availability titled Notice of Availability of the Record of Decision and Approved Resource Management Plan for the Rock Springs Field Office, Wyoming, published by the Bureau of Land Management on January 7, 2025, 80. Federal Reg.
See, one of my issues is becoming to that as I like play these increasingly long,
Prohibition on the implementation of
I'm just getting like
the
really
Buffalo
tired.
Field Office, Wyoming, Source Management Plan. The Secretary of the Interior shall not implement, add,
They have a water
minister,
cooling
or
pipe
enforce
for
the
their
record of
something
decision and
something.
approved Resource Management Plan amendment
What water
referred to in
cooling
the
pipe?
Notice of Availability titled Notice of Availability of the Record of Decision and Approved Resource Management Plan Amendment for the Buffalo Field Office, Wyoming,
Oh, I'm falling. Not good.
published by the Bureau of Land Management on Novum.
BER 27 2024
Whoa.
89 Fett.
Reg.
Wow, very funny to watch it
93,650.
suddenly turn German.
SEC 80,303. Prohibition on the implementation of the Miles City Field Office, Montana. Resource Management Plan. The Secretary of the Interior shall not implement, add, Minister or enforce the record of decision and approved. Resource Management Plan Amendment referred to in the Notice of Availability titled Notice of Availability of the Record of Decision and Approved Resource Management Plan Amendment for the Miles City Field Office, Mon. Tana, published by the Bureau of Land Management on November 13, 2024, 89 Federal Reg. 93,650. SEC. 80,304. Prohibition on the implementation of
What
the
pipe
North
are they
Dakota
talking
Resource
about?
Manage.
Mon plan.
The Secretary of the Interior shall not
Oh,
implement,
do I have to
add,
go in?
minister, or enforce the record
I've
of
never done
decision
this
and
before in the
approve.
game, so
Resource
that's an
Management
issue for
Plan
me.
referred to in the
I might
notice of
mess around for a long time while
Availability
figuring
titled
things
Record of
out.
Decision and approved Source Management Plan for the North Dakota Resource Management Plan / Environmental Impact Statement. North
Okay, I
Dakota,
probably should have
published by the
listened
Bureau of
to
Land Management.
listen to
Event on January
Sturgis. I
15,
didn't.
2025, 90 Federal Reg. 3,915. SEC.
Okay, so yeah, this is an entire section about turning off resource management plans, which are.
The Colorado River Valley
So
Field
I know, for example, the
Bison
one for
Grand Junction Field
Colorado.
Office. Resource Management Plans. The Secretary of the Interior
I know,
shall
for
not
example,
implement,
that these
Minister
resource
or
management
enforce the
plans,
records of
not
decision
not
and
like I've read
approved.
them manually, but I've
Resource
heard
Management Plans referred to in the notice of
that they prioritize
Availability titled Availability
making
of
sure we don't
records of
completely
decision
run the hell out of
and
water,
approved resource management
which I
plans for the
consider a
Grand
generally okay thing.
Junction Field Office and the Colorado
The
River
idea
Valley
that they're
Field
rescinding these
Office, Colorado,
infers
published
to
by
me
the
what
Bureau
it
of Land
normally
Management.
does, which is that
Agement on
they
October
want more
22nd,
water available for
2024,
industry and
89 Federal
agriculture.
Reg. 84,385. SEC. 80,306. Rescission of Forest Service funds. There is hereby rescinded the unobligated balances of amounts made available by Section 23001(a)(4) of Pub. Lick Law 117 to 169. SEC. 80,307. Rescission of National Park Service and Bureau of Land Management funds. There is hereby rescinded the unobligated balances of amounts made available by Section 50221 of Public Law 117 to 169. SEC. 80,308. Rescission of Bureau of Land Management and National Park Service funds. There is hereby rescinded the unobligated balances of amounts made available by Section 50222 of Public Law 117 to 169. SEC. 80,309. Rescission of National Park Service funds. There is hereby
It says
rescinded
that
the
the location
unobligated
I'm
balances
looking for should be on
of
my
amounts made
Pip-Boy, and I
available by
don't
Section
see it.
50223 of Public Law 117 to 169. SEC. 80,310. Celebrating America's 250th anniversary. In addition to amounts otherwise available, there is appropriated to the Secretary of the Interior for fiscal year 2025 out of any money in the Treasury not otherwise AP appropriated to remain available through fiscal year 2028. $150 million for events, celebrations, and activities related to the observance in Camorra. Tie-in of the 250th anniversary of the founding of the United States, and $40 million to carry out Executive Order 1613,934 of July 3, 2020, 85 Federal Reg 41165, Exec. Utive Order 13978 of January 18, 2021, 86 Federal Reg 6809, and Executive Order 14189 of January 29, 2025, 90 Federal Reg 8849 to establish
east.
and
West.
maintain a statuary park
East.
to be known as the National Garden of American Heroes. SEC. 80,311. Long-term contracts for the Forest Service. In general.
Yeah,
for each of fiscal
I am
years
not seeing this
2025
pipe anywhere.
through 2034, the Chief of the Forest Service, in this SEC tie-in referred to as the Chief, shall enter into not less than one long-term contract or agreement with private
I wonder what I'm doing
persons
wrong.
or other public or private entities under Section 14A of the National Forest Management Act, 16 U.S.C. 472A, with respect to covered national forest system lands in each
Still
region of the
not
Forest
seeing
Service
this.
that contains covered national forest system lands. B. Terms. 1. In general. Except as provided in para. Graphs 2 and 3. The Chief shall enter into contracts or agreements under subsection A in accord with Section 3903 of Title 41, United States Code, and Section 14 of the National Forest Management Act, 16 U.S.C. 472A. 2. Contract length. The period of a con. Tract or agreement under subsection A shall be 4. At least 20 years, with options for extensions and renewals as determined by the chief. 3. Cancellation ceilings. A contract or agreement entered into under subsection A shall include provisions for a cancellation ceiling consistent with section 604D of the Healthy Forests Restora. Tie-in Act of 2003, 16 U.S.C. 6591 C.D. C. Receipts. Any monies derived from an agreement or contract under this section by the chief shall be deposited in the general fund of the Treasury. D. Covered National Forest System lands. Defined. In this section, the term covered national forest system lands means the proclaimed national forest system lands reserved or withdrawn from the public domain of the United States. SEC.
Whoa, 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 whoa.
80,312.
What do we...
Long-term contracts for the Bureau of
Means the land for Canadian National Forest and Reserve withdrawn from the public domain. Long-term contracts for the Bureau of Land Management.
Land Management. A. In general. For each of fiscal years 2025 through 2034, the Director of the Bureau of Land Management, in this section referred to as the Director, shall enter into not less than one long-term contract or agreement with private persons or other public or private entities under Section 1 of the Materials Act of 1947.
My whole game
30
just essentially
USC
broke.
601
That was
with
not
respect
good.
to vegetative materials on COV. Aired public lands. B. Terms.
Good idea.
1. In general. Except as provided in para. Graphs 2 and
What
3.
in the
director
hell
shall
has
enter
happened
into
to my
con-
entire computer in these
Tracts
past
or
20
agreements under
seconds?
subsection A in accord. And with
What
Section
the hell
3903
happened?
of Title 41, United States Code, and Section 2A of the Materials Act of 1947. 30 U.S.C. 602A. 2. Contract length. The period of a contract or agreement under subsection A shall be 4. At least 20 years, with
Leave
options
me
for
alone,
extensions and
Mirelurks.
renewals as determined by the Director. 3. Cancellation ceilings. A contract or agreement entered into under subsection A shall include provisions for a cancellation ceiling consistent with section 604D of the Healthy Forests Restora. Tie-in Act of 2003, 16 U.S.C. 6591 C.D. C. Receipts. Any monies derived from an agreement or contract under this section by the Director shall be deposited in the general fund of the Treasury. D. Covered public lands. Defined. The term covered public lands has the meaning given the term public lands in Section 103 of the Federal Land Policy and Management Act of 1976, 43 U.S.C. 1702, except that the term includes Coos Bay Wagon Road grant lands and Oregon and California Railroad grant lands. SEC 80,313. Timber production for the Forest Serve. Ice.
Wow, okay, so that
in general,
broke really bad. It says 653. I'm going to have to close that and bring it back up. Great. New stuff I've never seen happen before. this back up. Try this again. Oh my god, I already forgot what the number was, so that's not good. I will deal with that in a moment. Okay, it says south of Ticonderoga. Yeah, every time I scroll to the bottom, it crashes Word. Yep, Word is currently crashing. That sucks. Wow. Today things are glitchy, huh? Nevada. Uh-oh. Okay. Timber production for Forest Service. Just a little bit. Rescission of National Park Service funds. Rescission of National Park Service and Bureau of Land Management funds. Colorado River Valley. Grand Junction Field Office Resource Management Plan. Alright, restarting here.
Minister or enforce the records
South
of
of
decision
Ticonderoga.
approved. Resource management plans referred to in the notice of availability titled availability of the records of decision and approved resource management plans for the Grand Junction Field Office and the Colorado River Valley Field Office, Colorado, published by the Bureau of Landman. Agement on October 22nd, 2024, 89 Federal Reg. 84,385. SEC. 80,306. Rescission of Forest Service funds. There is hereby rescinded
Great, now
the
I'm stuck
unobligated
here.
balances of amounts made available by Section 23001A4 of Pub. Lick Law 117 to 169. SEC. 80,307. Rescission of National Park Service and Bureau of Land Management funds. There is hereby rescinded the unobligated balances of amounts made available by Section 50221 of Public Law 117 to 169. SEC. 80,308. Rescission of Bureau of Land Management and National Park Service funds. There is hereby rescinded the unobligated balances of amounts made available by Section 50222 of Public Law 117 to 169. SEC. 80,309. Rescission of National Park Service funds. There is hereby rescinded the unobligated balances of amounts made available by Section 50223 of Public Law 117 to 169. SEC. 80,310.
You're defunding the National Park
Celebrating
Service.
America's 250th
What
anniversary.
kind of psycho is that?
In addition to amounts otherwise available, there is
It's like a
appropriated to the
unique amount of
Secretary the Interior
insane.
for fiscal year 2025 out of any money in the Treasury not otherwise AP appropriated to remain available through fiscal year 2028. $150 million for events, celebrations, and activities related to the observance in Camorra. Tie-in of the 250th anniversary of the founding of the United States, and $40 million to carry out Executive Order 1613,934 of July 3, 2020, 85 Federal Reg 41165, Exec. UDIV Order 13978 of January 18, 2021, 86 Federal Reg 6809, and Executive Order 14189 of January
Well, maybe I don't have to deal with
29,
these. I prefer not
2025,
to.
90 Federal Reg 8849 to establish and maintain a statuary park to be known as the National Garden of American Heroes. SEC.
What?
80,311.
Are they making a
Long-term
new
contracts
something?
for the Forest Service. In general. For each of fiscal years 2025 through 2034,
Okay, now I'm
the
good.
Chief of the Forest Service, in this SEC, tie-in referred to as the Chief, shall enter into not less than one long-term contract or agreement with private persons or other public or private entities under Section 14A of the National Forest Management Act, 16 U.S.C. 472A with respect to covered national forest system. Lands in each region.
Okay,
of the
what?
Forest Service
Are they
that
trying to
contains
build a new park? Is that what I understood?
covered national forest system land?
$150 million for events, celebrations, and activities related to the observance and commemoration of 250th anniversary. Okay. $40 million to carry out executive order. A 2020 executive order. Wouldn't that be under Biden? July, August, October, November. No, because it would have been November. To establish and maintain a statutory park to be known as the National Garden of American Heroes. Long-term contracts for the Forest Service. So just lots of money to make Trump environment things. Why is that just tossed into this thing below the National Park Service? Because it's the second part is a park, but $150 million for the what is probably Trump's birthday parade thing that he's doing. Respect to covered National Forest System lands.
The Bureau of Land Management. A. In general. For each of fiscal years 2025.
I'm going to change the voice to see if that affects me. Cool.
The director of the Bureau of
Maybe I'll
Land
hear it better suddenly.
Agement, in this section referred to as the director, shall enter into not less than one long-term contract or agreement with private persons or other public or private entities under Section 1 of the Materials Act of 1947, 30, USC 601, with respect to vegetative materials on COV, arid public lands, B, terms. 1, in general. Except as provided in para.
Did that do
Graphs
something
2
for me?
And
Or
3,
what?
the director shall enter into contracts or agreements under subsection A in accord and with Section 3903 of Title 41, United States Code and Section 2A of the Materials Act of 1947, 30 USC 602A, 2, contract length. The period of a contract or agreement under subsection A shall be for at least 20 years, with options for extensions and renewals as determined by the director. 3, cancellation ceilings. A contract or agreement entered into under subsection A shall include provisions for a cancellation ceiling consistent with Section 604
Well, I died instantly, huh?
D of the Healthy Forest
Seems not
Restoration
good.
Timeline of 2003, 16 USC 6591C D. C. Receipts to any monies derived from an agreement or contract under this section by the director shall be deposited in the general fund of the Treasury. D. Covered public lands defined. The term covered public lands has the meaning given the term public lands in Section
I
103
do
of
think
the
switching
Federal
the
Land
voice to
Policy
more feminine
and
has
Management
helped
Act of
because
1976,
it sounds different
43
and my
USC
ears are like hearing it
1702,
differently now.
except that the term includes Coos Bay Wagon Road Grant Land and Oregon and California Railroad Grant Lands. SEC 80,313. Timber production for the Forest Serve. ICE. A. In general, not later than 1 year after the date of enactment of
Keep
this
dying
title,
instantly,
the
not good.
Secretary of
Bad stuff overall.
Agriculture, acting through the chief of the Forest Service or their
Should probably stop
designee,
dying
shall direct
instantly.
timber harvest on covered tidal forest system lands in amounts that 1. In total, equal or exceed the volume that is 25% higher than the total volume harvested on such lands during fiscal year 2024, and 2. Are in accordance with the applicable forest plan, including the allowable sale quantity or able sale quantity as applicable of timber applicable to such lands on the date of enactment of this title. B. Definitions in this section. 1. Covered National Forest System lands. A. In general, except as provided in subparagraph B. The term covered National Forest System lands means the proclaimed National Forest System lands reserved or withdrawn from the public domain of the United States. B. Exclusions. The term covered tidal forest system lands does not include lands 1. That are included in the National Wilderness Preservation System. 2. That are located within a national or state-specific inventoried roadless area established by the Secretary of Agriculture through regulation unless
Where the hell did I get this
the
item?
Forest Management Active ITY to be carried out under such authority is consistent with the forest plan applicable to the area, or 2. The activity is allowed under
I
the
really
applicable
need
roadless
to
rule governing such lands,
grab
including
much more items,
A,
right?
the Idaho Roadless Rule under Subpart C of Part 294 of
Lots of rads.
Title 36
5 rads.
Code of Federal Regula.
It's not low, it's pretty high.
BB, the Colorado Roadless Rule under Subpart D of Part
Huh.
294 of Title 36
Where do I go now?
Code of Federal
Open.
Regulations, or
Oh, interesting.
CC, any other roadless rule developed after the date of the enactment of this section by the Secretary with respect to a SPE, specific state, or 3 on which timber harvesting for any purpose is prohibited by federal staff.
I don't really need to loot
2. Forest
soon.
plan.
I'm
The
pretty
term
much fine as
forest
long as I
plan
can fight.
means a land and resource management plan prepared by the Forest Service for a unit of the NOM. Tidal forest system pursuant to Section 6 of the Forest and Rangeland Renewable Resources Plan, Ning Act of 1974, 16 U.S.C. 1604, SEC 80,314. Timber production for the Bureau of Land Management. A. In general, not later than 1 year after the date of enactment of this title, the Secretary of the
Wow,
INT.
I would need really
3.
high
Acting through the Director of the Bureau of Land
perks to do that.
Management or their designee shall direct timber harvest on covered
I
public
don't even
lands
like
in
this
amount
item. Give me a
1
punchy.
in total equal or exceed the volume
Very
that is
good.
25% higher than the total volume harvested on such lands during fiscal year 2024, and 2 are in accordance with the applicable forest plan. B. Definitions in this section. 1. Covered public lands. A. In general,
Sound like an
except
overall
as provided
bad.
in subparagraph B. The term covered public lands has the meaning given the term public lands in section 103 of the Federal Land Pool.
Wow, that was
IC
a bunch
and
of
Management
reds.
Act of 1976, 43 U.S.C. 1702, except that the term includes Coos Bay. 1. Wagon Road grant lands and Oregon and Cali. 2. For NIA Railroad grant lands. 3. B. Exclusions, the term covered. 4. Public lands does not include lands. 5. 1. That are included in the National. 6. Wilderness Preservation System, or 7. 2. On which timber harvesting for. 8. Any purpose is prohibited by federal staff. 9.
Ute.
Statutes.
2. Forest plan, the term forest plan. 11. Means a
Well,
land
yeah, this
use
is where I
plan
came from.
prepared
I'm
by
just
Bureau
stupid.
of 12. Land management for public lands pursuant to SEC. 13. Tie in 202 of the Federal Land Policy and manage. 14. Meant Act of 1976, 43 U.S.C. 1712. 15 SEC. 80,315. Bureau of Land Management land in any. 16. Vada. 17. A. Lyon County. 18. 1. In general, not later than 2 years after. 19. The date of enactment of this title, the Secretary of. 20. The Interior, referred to in this section as the SEC. 21. Readery, in accordance with this section and the. 22.
Oh,
Federal
dear.
Land Policy and Management Act of 1976. 23. 43 U.S.C. 1701 shall identify and offer for sale to. 24. The City of Fernley, Nevada, all right, title, and in. Tierist of the United States in and to the federal land. A. Located in Lyon County, Nevada, and B. Identified as Fernley Land Convey. Ant's boundary on the map entitled Fernley Economic Development Act and dated October 6, 2020. 2. Costs as a condition of the conveyance of the federal land under paragraph 1. The City of Fernley, Nevada, shall pay A. An amount equal to the appraised value determined in accordance with subsection E2 and B. All costs related
I
to
can
the
punch
conveyance
that?
of the federal land
No
to the
way.
city, including all sir.
I didn't know I could punch
base,
that.
appraisals, and other
Cool.
associated admins. Trade of
Impressed that I
license.
can punch that
B.
from this
Clark
distance.
County. 1. In general, not later than 2 years after the date of enactment of this title, the Secretary, in accordance with this section and the Federal Land Policy and Management Act of 1976, 43 U.S.C.
Well, I can't hack my way into
1701,
there.
shall identify and offer for sale all right, title, and interest of the United States in and to federal land located in Clark County, Nevada that has been identified A. as suitable for disposal in the Las Vegas
Punch.
Resource Management Plan in existence on the date of enactment of this title, or B. as modified existing disposal on the map entitled Southern Nevada Economic Development and Conservation Act Disposal map and dated February 6, 2025. 2. Compliance with local planning and zoning laws before carrying out a sale of fed arrow land under paragraph 1. Clark County shall submit to the Secretary a certification that any entity selected to purchase land through a competitive bidding process under subsection E1A has agreed to comply with A. Zoning ordinances of the county and B.
A bunch of
any master
nuka
plan for the
quantums.
area
Oh, that's gonna
approved
kill me.
by the county or region.
No, it just got
3.
close to killing me.
Affordable housing. A.
I'm fine
in general,
otherwise.
Upon the request Clark County, the Secretary shall make the federal Land identified as modified
Punch
existing
him.
disposal. On the map
Punch.
entitled Southern Nevada Eco, Nomic Development and Conservation Actus. Postal
Yeah, I'm
map
not getting into
and
any of
dated
these
February
special.
6th,
4? What the hell do I
2025
need
available.
those for?
Able at less than fair market value for 4. Able housing, in accordance with Section 7B of the Southern Nevada Public Land Management Act of 1998, Public Law 105 to 263, 112 stat, 2349. B. Exemption from notice of realty. Action requirement, if any entity seeks to use covered land for affordable housing per.
They beat up
Poses
an
under
Assaultron?
subparagraph A. The entity. 1.
Those things are hard to
shall
fight.
not be required to comply now. Tice of realty action requirements with respect to the covered land.
Oh dear.
2. Before using the
Well, this
covered
is the
land
super
for
deadly, uber
affordable
mega
housing
ultra
purposes
dangerous
shall
turret.
provide for a period of not less than 14 days a day. Wait public notice of the use of the COV.
Weird.
4. Savings
So it just
clause,
mean the
nothing
turret's
in this
level
section
is a lot higher
shall
than
be
mine, I
construed
guess?
to
Is that the
affect
logic?
federal lands previously identified for disposal under the Southern
Wow, they're
Nevada
really making it obvious
Public
this is
Land
like
Management Act
endgame
of
because
1998, Public Law 105 to 263, 112 stat 2343.
fuck you mean
nor the
curious, bro?
disposition of pro.
I'm right here.
Seats for such lands prior to the date of enactment of this title. See Washoe County.
I need to
Doc.
get over there
1.
apparently.
In general, not later than 2 years after
Punch.
the date of enactment of
Punch.
this title, the Secretary,
Punch.
in accordance with this section
One
and
hit.
federal land
Couple more.
Policy and Management Act of 1976, 43 U.S.C. 1701, shall identify and offer for sale all right
Bro,
title.
You
and
you
interest
is
of
not
the
fighting me
United
right
States
now.
in and to federal land located in
You are
Washoe
not boxing
County,
me.
Nevada, that has been identified. A. As suitable for disposal in the Carson City Consolidated Resource Management Plan, in existence on the date of enactment of this title, or B. As BLM land for disposal on the map entitled Washoe County Land Disposals, and dated February
Oh.
7th, 2025.
Am I
2.
in the
Evaluation of additional
freaking
land for
place now?
potential disposal. A. In general, the Secretary shall,
Back to this.
not later than 1 year after the date of enactment of this title, evaluate the parcels of federal land depicted as additional BLM land, potentially available for disposal on the map, entitled Washoe County Land Disposals, and dated February 7, 2025, to assess the suit.
What? That's
Ability
how
of
it
the
worked?
Evaluated federal land for disposal in accordance with Section 203A of the Federal Land Policy and Management Act of 1976, 43 U.S.C. 1713. A. B. Sale. The parcels of federal land identified by the Secretary as suitable for disposal under subparagraph A may be offered for sale in accordance with this section.
Wow, they're really
3.
bringing the
Joint
minimum in,
selection
huh?
required. Determina TON regarding suitability for affordable housing.
I mean, this is us,
A,
boys.
In general, the Secretary and Washoe County shall jointly select which part cells of the federal land described in paragraph 2A and identified as suitable for disposal in subparagraph B to offer for sale under this subsection. B. Determination during the select time process under subparagraph A. The SEC, Reedery and Washoe County shall evaluate whether any parcels of the federal land described in that subparagraph are suitable for affordable housing. C. Conveyanced if a parcel of federal
I'll
land
be
is
real. I
determined
think
to
I'm
be
realizing
suitable
I've
for
never
affordable
like actually beat the game. I don't think I've ever personally beat it. I've just played it a
housing
lot
under
of times.
Subparagraph B on request of a state or local governmental entity. The apply cable parcel of federal land shall be made available at less than fair market value to the governmental entity in accordance with Section 7B of the Southern Nevada Public Land Management Act of 1998, Public Law 105 to 263,
112 stat.
2349. D.
Will I die?
Exact acreage
I did
and
not die
legal
from that fall. That's
description
sick.
of a parcel of federal land to be conveyed under subparagraph C shall be determined by a survey satisfactory to the SEC, Reedery, for compliance with local planning and zoning laws before carrying out a sale of arrow land under paragraph
Oh, that guy
2,
seems like a
Washoe
problem.
County shall submit to the Secretary
Just
a
being
certification
honest.
that any entity selected to purchase land through a competitive bidding process under subsection E1A has
Whee!
agreed to comply with A.
These guys are
Washoe
pretty slow
County
to stop
zoning
me, huh?
ordinances, and B. Any master plan for the area approved by Washoe County or region. 5.
'Kay.
Postponement. Exclusion from sale. At the request of Washoe County,
Do
the
do
Secretary
mana. Do do
shall
mana.
postpone or exclude from sale all or a portion of the federal land described in paragraph 2.
I'm charging
6.
my attack.
Affordable
Do
housing.
do
A.
mana.
Determination regarding suit.
Do do
Ability for affordable
mana. I
housing.
like that the game is just showing me
Later
where to
than
go.
90
And
days
I feel like
after
when
the
I had
date
to
of
explore the
enactment
Institute, when I used
of
to
this
side with the
title,
Institute,
the
it'd be really
Secretary
hard to
shall
get
have
around.
read. You
Now
of
the game's just
federal
like, just
land
go this
described
way.
in
You've never
subpart.
been in here, but just go
Graph
this way.
C, to
Okay.
determine the suitability of them. Federal
Okay,
land
sound
for
good.
affordable housing. B. Authorization
fine.
upon the request
Uh-oh.
of a state or local governmental entity, the SEC. Readery shall make the federal
Wee
land described in
wee.
subparagraph C available at less than fair market value for affordable housing in
I'm
accordance
not fighting any of you
with Section
bozos. What the
7
hell would be the
B
point?
of the Southern Nevada Public Land Management Act of 1998. Public.
Oh, is this
Law
lockdown or something?
105 to 263. 112 stop. 2,349. See description of federal land.
Just gotta keep
The
running.
federal
They'll never
land
get me.
referred to in subparagraphs A and B is the land identified as BLM. Land
Oh,
for
come on.
disposal only for affordable house.
No buttons to
ING
press.
on the map entitled
No way to get
Washoe
in. I
County
don't want
Land.
to start fighting. I've been trying to
Disposals
avoid
and
fighting the
dated
entire
February
time.
7th, 2025.
Is this like a lockdown
D,
type of deal?
exemption from notice of realtor.
I have to start fighting
Action
people.
requirement. If any entity seeks to use covered land for affordable housing permit, poses under subparagraph B. The
Uh oh,
entity,
am I gonna have to redo all
one,
this crap?
shall not be required
But
to
with like a
comply
bomb?
with Types of realty action requirement.
Or two or
3,
three?
respect to the covered land, but 2.
That didn't do
before
anything.
using the covered land for affordable housing purposes shall
Oh,
provide
I already had a
for
fat man
period
on
of
me.
not
That's
less
sick.
than 14 days a day.
Okay, well, I'm
Public
just gonna
notice of the
explode
use of
everyone in
COP.
here real quick. Few
B,
stim
Friction County Checkerboard
packs.
Resolute. Tie-in
Some
and
Radix
disposal
and
plans.
Radaway.
1. Sale or exchange of eligible
Give me
land.
some distance between
A,
them and
authorization of
me.
conveyance stock.
Run
Not
in
later than 2
game.
years after the date of
Bonk.
Ackman of this title.
Uh-oh.
The Secretary in accord. Ends with this section and subject to valid exist.
This is
ING
probably gonna
rights
kill me
shall
if I
conduct
mess up
sales
soon.
or exchanges of all right, title, and interest of the United States in and to the eligible land. See joint
Ah,
action
yeah.
required.
Yeah, I thought I'd do that pretty soon.
Providing public notice. The Secretary.
There's a
in
reason I don't use this item very
County
often.
shall jointly select parcels of eligible.
It's because I often
Land to
kill
be
myself
offered
by
for
accident
sale
while
or
using it.
exchange
Oh,
under.
ow, ow, that hurt.
Subparagraph
Hey, sir,
A.
I do not consider that
See
very
land
thoughtful.
exchanges stock.
So
1.
neither
In
demure,
general,
neither
exchange of
thoughtful.
ELI.
Frankly,
Civil
just
land under
overall
subparagraph
unkind.
A shall be consistent with
Bonk.
section 206A of the Fed. Arrow Land Policy and Management Act of
How about another bonk? Bonk.
1700.
One more for this guy.
2. Equal value exchange dot.
Bonk.
1. In general. dot the
Problem
value of
solved.
The eligible land and private land too. Be exchanged under subparagraph A. AA shall be equal.
Finally
or
addicted
BB
to
shall be
medics.
made
That took a
equal in
while.
Accordance with subclause 2. 2.
I'm
Equalization dot.
just
AA,
gonna punch this
surplus
guy real
of
quick.
eligible
Thank
land
you.
with respect to the
Preston
eligible.
disliked me.
Land and
Oh,
private
getting
land to
addicted
be
to something. I see, I see.
exchanged under subparagraph A. If
I
the
hadn't,
value
well, I
of
hadn't
the
thought that that
eligible
was gonna happen.
land
I
exceeds
think
the
I have
value
one
of
thing of
the
addictal
PRI.
on me at all
B
times.
land,
Yeah, I do.
The value of the eligible.
So
Land
do I
and
need
the
to like
private
turn
land shall
off
be
the lockdown or
equalized
something
by
right now? Like what's going
A,
on?
The owner of them.
Preston,
Private land
I need your
pay
help. What am I
cash.
doing?
Equalization payment to the Secretary. BB.
There's more
adding
to
private.
fight?
Land to the exchange. Or CC removing eligible. Land from the exchange. BB. Surplus of private. Land with respect to the elegy. Lee land and private land to be exchanged under subparagraph A. If the value of the private land exceeds the value
No,
of the
more
UL,
Minutemen defeated.
civil
That's
land,
stupid.
the value of the PRI. Bait land and the eligible land.
Do not
shall be
defeat the
equalized
scientists.
by
There's no point.
AA. The Secretary.
Scientists.
Making a cash equalization. Payment to the owner of the private land in accordance with Section 206B of the Federal Land Policy and Management Act of 1976, 43 U.S.C. 1716 B. BB adding eligible land to the exchange or CC removing private land from the exchange. 3. Adjacent land to the extent practicable, the Secretary shall seek to enter into agreements with one or more owners of
Hilarious.
private land adjacent to the UI. Gibble land for the exchange of the private. Land for the eligible land. If the
Oh my
Secretary
god, I just took
determines
everything
that
I
the
had.
exchange would con-
Oops.
Consolidate federal land ownership and facilitate. Tate improved federal land management. D.
Oh,
Deadline
thank you,
for sale
Sturgis.
Or exchange. Exclusion stuff. 1. Deadline not later than 2 years after the date on which the eligible land is jointly selected under subparagraph B. The Secretary shall offer for sale or exchange the parcels of eligible land jointly Selected under that
I'm gonna have to go
subparagraph.
kill
2.
father. So there's no way to do
Postponement or
this without
EXC only.
directly
Shall
killing the guy.
Secretary
That
or the
sucks.
county may postpone or exclude from sale or exchange
That's crazy.
all or a portion of the eligible land jointly. Selected under subparagraph B for Emmer. Gensi ecological or safety reasons. 2. Sale of encumbered land. A. Authorization
Yeah, it
of
looks like I have to
conveyance.
kill him. That
Not
sucks.
later than 2 years after the date of the end. Actment of this title and subject to valid exist. ING rights
Sad
held by
stuff, sad
third parties.
stuff.
The secretary
Apparently it has
shall
to be
offer to
done.
convey to
Apparently.
qualified entities for fair market value, the remaining right, title, and interest of the United States in and to the encumbered land. The offer to conveyed
Oh, where
not
am I?
later than 180
Bye, Sean.
days
Bye,
after the date
Sean.
on which the secretary receives a fair market offer from a qualified entity for the conveyance of encumbered land. The secretary shall accept the fair market value offer. C. Conveyanced not later than 180 days after the date of acceptance by the SEC. Readery of an offer from a
Yeah,
qualified
go
entity
there.
under subparagraph B.
Oh, I have
and
to unlock
completion of the
this?
sale
That's
for
stupid.
all or part of the applicable portion of income. Bared land to the highest qualified entity. The secretary.
What about the
by
issue that I
delivery
don't
of
know
an
how to
appropriate
hack?
deed, patent or other valid instrument of conveyance shall convey to the qualified entity all remaining right, title, and interest of the United States in, and to the applicable portion of the encumbered
Bust. No.
land. D. Merger. Subject to valid
Duty.
existing
Wow, I can't believe
rights
that
held
worked.
by third parties on delivery of instrument of conveyance to the qualified entity. Under subparagraph C, the prior interests in the locatable minerals and the right to use them. Surface for mineral purposes held by the qualified entity under a mining claim, mill site ton, nel site, or any other federal land use authorization applicable to the encumbered land and include in the instrument of conveyance shall merge with all right, title, and interest conveyed to the qualified entity by the United States under this section to ensure that the qualified entity receives fee simple title to the purchased encumbered land. 3. Definitions. In this subsection, A. County. The term county means Pershing County, Nevada.
It'll never survive without the institute.
B.
Shut up.
Eligible land. The term
You're a failure of a
eligible
son, and I'm
land
disappointed.
means any land administered by
I'm
the
not even
SEC.
angry. I'm just disappointed.
Readery, acting through the director of the Bureau of Land Management. 1. That is within the area identified.
To be 100% real,
on
there's a
the
little
map
bit of
as
reality
checkerboard
in
lands
me
resto.
choosing to do that.
Demolition area that is designated for disposal by the secretary through 1. The Winnemucca Consolidated
Elevator access
Resource
is
Management
denied.
Plan, or 2.
Let me leave.
Any subsequent amendment or revision
You're
to the
kidding me. I
management
have
that
to
is
kill
undertaken
him,
with
probably.
full public involvement. 2. That is the land identified
That's so
on the
ridiculous, dude.
map as additional
I don't
lands
want to talk
eligible
to you,
for
old man.
disposal, and 3. That is not encumbered land. C. Encumbered land. The term N. Encumbered land means any land administered by the secretary
All right, old
acting
man.
through the director of
Time to die,
the
probably. I
Bureau of Land Management.
don't know if I have to kill
within
you, but this
area
is so
identified on the
stupid.
map as checkerboard. Resolution area that is encumbered by mining, claims, mill sites, or tunnel sites. D. Mapped. The term map means the map titled Pershing County Checkerboard. Lands resolution and dated July 8,
Well, how exactly do
2024.
I leave
D.
then?
Qualified entity. The term qualified entity means with respect to a core tie-in of encumbered land. 1. The owner of a mining claim mill site or
Since
tunnel
Strider,
site
I
located
literally
on a
do not
portion
have
of
time to care.
the encumbered land on the date of the enactment of this title.
Yeah, keep
and
running, scientist
2.
boy.
A successor in interest of an owner. Described in clause I. E. Appraisals and methods of sale. 1. Method of sale. The sale or exchange.
Just let
of
me get
eligible
down
lands
here,
under this section
Jesus.
shall be
It's taking forever.
A. Through a competitive bidding process. B. For not less than fair market value in accordance with paragraphs 2.
Yeah, let's get in
and
there.
3 and
Yeah,
C.
that's
Subject
what you
to
said.
valid existing rights.
Cool.
2. Appraisals. Any sales or exchanges car. Read out under
Dang it,
this
I might
section
not
shall
be able
for
to
not
hit the
less
right
than
time first.
fair market value based on an appraisal that is
Wee, reactor
conducted in accordance with
time.
A.
Very good.
Uniform
Finally
appraisal
there. Now I
standards
put the
for
bomb, then I
federal
leave.
land acquisitions. And
Now that I remember how to leave.
B. The
I genuinely do not
uniform
remember
standards of
how.
professional appraisal practice. 3. Mass appraisals. Not
Oh,
later
that
than 2
hurts.
years after the date of the enactment of this title, and every 5 years thereafter, the secretary shall A. Conduct a mass appraisal of eligible land to be sold or exchanged.
There isn't like a
under this
final
section.
boss to fight, is
B.
there?
Prepare an evaluation analysis for each land transaction under this section.
Oh, it's
And
like a cleaning
C. Make
device.
available to the
Interesting.
public the results of the mass appraisals
Oh,
conducted under
what?
sub
Who gave you this?
paragraph
Oh
F.
yeah, so there's kind of like a
F.
final
Cost.
boss sort of
The
thing.
Qualified entity or entity selected through a competitive bidding process to purchase or exchange land as appropriate shall pay all costs associated
That was
with
half of his
sales or
health with one hit.
exchanges carried out under this section.
Reactor
G,
terminal
disposition of
password.
proceeds, amounts received.
Not really sure what I
When the
need that
sale
for,
of
but
land
okay.
under this section shall be
Okie doke.
deposited in the general fund of the treasury.
Okie doke.
H, map and legal description. 1. In general, not
Uh-oh,
later
that
than
might have
2
killed me.
years
No, it
after.
didn't. Huh.
The date of enactment
Kind of thought it
of
would
this
based on
title,
how
the
big that
Secretary
explosion was.
shall finalize the maps and legal descriptions of them. Land to be sold or exchanged under the section. 2. Controlling document in the case of a
Yeah.
discrepancy between the maps and legal descript. Tie-ins finalized under paragraph 1. The map shall control. 3. Corrections. The Secretary may correct minor errors in the maps or the legal descriptions 5. Nailized under paragraph 1. 4. Map on filed, the maps and legal doc. Descriptions finalized under paragraph 1 shall be kept on file and available for public inspection in each appropriate office of the Bureau of Land Management. 1. Rule of construction. Nothing in this SEC. Tie-in shall be construed as authorizing the conveyance of any lands administered by the National Park Service. SEC 80,316. Forest Service land in Nevada. A.
I'll just
in
have to
general,
punch you
not later
manually.
than 2 years after
The
date
good
of
old-fashioned
enactment of this
way.
title, the Secretary of Agri. Culture, referred to in this section as the Secretary, in accordance with this section, shall identify and offer for sale. Subject
It's like
to
impossible to VATS
subsection
this guy, I
all
guess.
right, title, and inter. Est of the United States in and to covered federal land.
Can all of y'all
Located
stop,
in Washoe
please?
County, Nevada. Deep joint selection required. Determination regarding suitability for affordable housing. 1.
Because like
in
I just
general,
need a
the
moment of peace to
Secretary of
actually
Washoe
do all
County
this,
shall
I
jointly
guess.
select which parcels of cover.
Sorry, Institute
Federal land to
Scientists.
offer
I don't
for
know,
sale
man.
under
I'll tell
subsection
you.
A. 2. Determination
I might have been
not during the
chiller,
selection.
but
Process under paragraph 1. The Secretary and Washoe County shall evaluate whether any parcels of the federal land described
Here
in
we
that
go.
paragraph are suitable for affordable housing. 3. Conveyance
a lot of
of the
rads.
parcel of federal land is determined
Back
to
to
be suitable
Preston.
for affordable housing. Under paragraph 2,
Where the hell's
on request
Preston?
of a state or local governmental
Preston's
entity,
up there?
the
Why is Preston up
applicable
there?
parcel of federal land shall be
Oh
made
no.
available at
Someone
less
has
than
some
fair
sort of
market
fire thingy.
value to the governmental entity in
Not
accordance
good.
with Section 7 B of the Southern Nevada Public Land Management Act of 1998, Public Law 105
The hell do you
to
mean? How do I talk to
263,
Preston right now? I already did the
112
thing.
stat.
2,349.
I did reach the
4.
reactor.
Survey the exact acreage and legal doc. Description of a parcel of federal land to be conveyed. Under paragraph 3 shall be determined by
Game, what are you
survey.
talking about?
Satisfactory to the Secretary. 5. Compliance with local planning and zoning laws before carrying
Can you
out
stop hitting
sale
me
of
with that?
COV. Aired federal land under subsection A. Washoe.
Looks like I'm gonna
County
miss this
shall
just
submit to the
barely.
Secretary a certification that any entity selected to purchase covered federal land through a competitive bidding process under subsection D1A has agreed to comply with A. Washoe County zoning ordinances and B. Any master
Listen,
plan for the
I've
area
reached
approved
the thing. I don't
by
know what your
Washoe
issue
County
is
or
right now.
region. 6. Postponement. Exclusion from sale. At the request of Washoe County, the Secretary shall postpone or exclude from sale all or a portion of the federal land described in subsection A. C. Affordable housing. 1. Determination regarding suitability for affordable housing not later than 90 days after the date of enactment of this title. Secretary shall conduct a review of the additional federal land
I
to
wish I could
determine
get a
the
couple more
suitability of the
stems. Yeah,
item.
I'm about to die. That
Final federal
sucks.
land for affordable housing.
Hey, let's see where we
2.
can load
Authorization
instead.
upon the request of A. State or local governmental entity and subject to
There, I'll load
valid
there.
existing
Just
rights.
go straight and then
The
turn around.
Secretary shall make them additional federal land available at
All right,
less
more
than fair
chaos.
market value for
More
affordable
chaos.
housing in accordance with Section 7B of the Southern Nevada Public Land Management Act of 1998, Public Law 105.
263. 112 stat.
2,349. D. Appraisals and method of sale. 1. Method of sale. The sale or exchange of any lands under this section shall be A. Through a competitive bidding process. B. Except as provided in subsections B3 and C for not less than fair market value in accordance with paragraphs 2 and 3 and C subject to valid existing rights. 2. Appraisals. Any sales or exchanges card readout under this section shall be for not less than fair market value based on an appraisal that is conducted in accordance with A. The Uniform Appraisal Standards for Federal Land Acquisitions and B. The Uniform Standards of Professional Appraisal Practice.
Nice.
3. Mass appraisals not later than 2 years after the date of the enactment of this title and Every 5 years thereafter, the Secretary shall
And I can just
conduct
like
a mass
chill.
appraisal of eligible
Maybe hit my
land to
last
be
rat
sold or
away. I'm
exchanged
out of
under
rat
this
away.
section.
That sucks.
B. Prepare an evaluation analysis for each land transaction under this section. And C.
Do you need
Make
to get
available to the public
back to
results.
Preston again?
The
I've already
mass appraisals
gone to the
conducted
reactor.
under
What's the
sub.
issue?
Paragraph A. E. Costs of conveyance. Any entity selected to purchase covered federal land or additional federal land.
Do I really need to shut
Under
down
this
the
section
reactor?
shall pay all costs associated with the sale. F. Disposition of proceeds. The proceeds from the sale of additional federal land and covered federal land required under this section shall be deposited in the general fund of the Treasury. G. Map and legal description. 1. In general, not later
Where
than 2
exactly
years
is
after
Preston right now,
the
though?
date of enactment of this title, the Secretary shall finalize the maps and legal descriptions of the additional federal land and covered federal
Sorry.
land
I just need to get
sold
through real
under the
quick. I
section.
apologize.
2. Controlling document in the case of a discrepancy between the maps and legal descript. Tie-ins finalized under paragraph 1. The map shall control. 3. Corrections. The Secretary and Washoe County, by mutual agreement, may correct minor errors in the maps or the legal descriptions finalized. Under paragraph
I'm running. Get
4.
fucked.
Map on filed, the maps and legal descriptions
Busted?
finalized under paragraph 1 shall be kept on file and available for public inspection in each appropriate office of the Bureau of Land Management. H. Rule of construction. Nothing in this SEC tie-in shall be construed as authorizing the conveyance of any lands administered by the National Park Service. 1. Definitions. In this section. 1. Additional
Am I
federal
about to
land
beat
of
the
term.
game?
Additional federal land
Maybe?
means the federal land identified as USFS
Zoink.
land for disposal only for AF. Portable housing on the map entitled Washoe County Land Disposals and dated February 7, 2025. 2. Covered federal land. The term COV.
What?
Aired federal land means USFS land for disposal on the map entitled Washoe County Land Disposal and dated February 7, 2025. SEC 80,317. Federal land in Utah. A. Conveyance of Bureau of Land Management land TO covered entity, not later than 180 days after the date of enactment of this title, the Secretary shall convey to the covered entity all right, title, and interest of the United States in and to the covered land.
Wow, I didn't know that in the end you
Requirement.
get to get your
Conveyance of
son.
covered land under this section shall be 1. Subject to valid existing rights, and 2.
What?
for
That's
not
an
less than
interesting
fair
turn
market
at the
values.
end.
On an appraisal that is conducted
No
in
way.
accordance with A. The Uniform Appraisal Standards for Federal Land Acquisitions, and B. The Uniform Standards of Professional Appraisal
Yes, sir. I'm
Practice.
ready. Let's go.
C. Costs of conveyance. The covered entity shall pay all costs associated with the conveyances required under subsection A. D. Proceeds from conveyance. The proceeds from the conveyances required under subsection A shall be deposited in the general fund of the Treasury. E. Map and legal description. 1. In general, not later than 120 days after the date of enactment of this title, the SEC.
Okay, he sent me. I'm
Later, it
gonna
shall
wait for them and
finalize
then press the
maps
button.
And legal descriptions of the covered land to be conveyed under this SEC. 2. Controlling document in the case of a discrepancy between the maps and legal descript. Tie-ins finalized under paragraph 1. The map shall control. 3. Corrections. The Secretary and the COV. Aired entity, by mutual agreement, may correct minor errors in the maps or the legal descriptions finalized. Under paragraph 1. 4. Map on filed, the maps and legal descriptions
Where's the
finalized
kid?
under paragraph 1 shall be kept on file and available for public inspection in each appropriate office of the Forest
Wow!
Service.
Holy crap!
F,
I'm gonna beat the
rule of
game.
construction. Nothing in this
And I'm at
SEC
681. I was
Time
hoping
shall
to
be
hit more like
construed
page
as authorizing the
700.
conveyance of any lands administered
Because
by
that's
the
gonna leave
National
me
Park
with like
Service.
what?
2. Definitions. in
400,
this section. 1.
50
Covered
pages
entity.
left. That's
The
still a
term
lot.
Covered entity means the following. A. Beaver County.
Alright, I don't know what's going on with the kid, but I'm pressing the button.
Covered land depicted on the map entitled Beaver County Land Conveyance and dated 20th March 8th, 2025. B. The City of St. George, Utah, with respect to covered land depicted on the map entity. TLED City of St. George, Utah, land convey. And
Guess it makes
and
sense.
dated
The
March
video game
28th,
Fallout ends with
2025.
a
C.
a nuclear
Washington County,
detonation.
Utah, with respect to covered land depicted on 1. The map
I'm gonna
entitled
call that
Washington County Land
game.
Conveyance, East
Pause
Half
there.
End, dated April 11th, 2025.
Page 682. I had beaten the game. Oh, no way. There you go. Institute's gone. Game fades to black, and then I get credits, I guess. I think I've gotten credits maybe playing as the Institute, I think. Maybe. I don't actually recall I've ever gotten credits, I think. Never changes. Oh, he said the thing. John Fallout. He said the thing. Credits? Did I just beat this game? Did I just beat a Fallout run in like, I don't know, like no time at all? Preston, where is my son? My fake son? Yes, I did. Yeah, I did do that. Okay. Wow. So, like, where's my son? I like how the game ends and I'm like, I still haven't found my son. Where the fuck is my son? Sean! Feels like, freaking, oh my god, am I just gonna keep leveling up? How, did I level up 2 levels from that? Sean! Sean! Alright. I don't know how many hours that was. I'll take a look at it on Steam, maybe. No, on the menu. It'll show me how many hours I played. How many hours we've been reading, too. Oh, holy cow, I'm tired. Yeah, as long as the bill has passed the House of Representatives, next needs to go through the Senate. And according to what I saw, it has to be unchanged. Meaning it has to pass. To become law, it has to pass in the exact form I've read it through the Senate. I think there's like no chance of that. I was really hoping that there would be a revision. I desperately hope that it does not pass in this form. I hope it has to go through several rounds of revision that take months. Doesn't guarantee that that'll happen. Where's my pseudo son? Where's my artificial son? Did I explode him? I might have exploded him if I'm being completely honest and real. Oops. All right. With that, I think I'm done reading this for a little bit. Joe, why the hell do you walk up to me to say that? Wow, yeah. Yeah, so I think I'm gonna take a few days off of streaming and play my game. I'm playing a game that like I just want to play for me 100% on my own, no stream. Just relaxing and enjoying that game. And I mean, what are the summaries in the document so far? I did this with the Project 2025 document when I was about this far into it, and interestingly, I beat. Let me double check. Let's quit to the menu. Continue. 14 hours? I beat Fallout in 14 hours? Minecraft took me longer. I beat Fallout way faster than Minecraft. How? How? Why? I don't think that those things should be beatable, and I didn't think a Bethesda open world RPG with infinite content would take that long to beat the main game. Minecraft took like 24 hours. I have just beaten Fallout 4. What I'm going to be doing now is taking a few days off in real life, but you won't notice them. I'm going to take a few days off just to rest and relax, and then come back and knock out the other 450 pages I have left or whatever. I like to pause when I beat the game in streams like this and just kind of reflect on what the document feels like right now, kind of more than halfway through. And talking about context, I heard about this bill, and I heard it framed as this is Project 2025 as a bill. And I think that this is, I'm at halfway. I think that this is like half of Project 2025 as a bill. There's a, what do you even say? The $150 billion to the military-industrial complex, I would love to be like, that's just a Trump thing. That's not a Trump thing. That's a normal American Democrat or Republican warmonger piece of behavior. Now, you could talk about degree. Usually, we only increase the military budget like $60 billion at a time. So $150 billion at a time is like a lot. That is, more than 200%, more than 100% over what I'm used to seeing across any type of average president voting on a, it's been 4 years, let's raise the military another $60 billion while not feeding children thing. They've done that before. The warmongering is terrible and terrifying, and most certainly, literally, the pillaging and stealing of wealth from the middle class to put into the U.S. military, which means putting it into the U.S. military-industrial complex. And then looking at all this AI shit and how relevant that is to the last video I made about Palantir and their surveillance and targeting AI that's being sold to the state of Israel and now to the United States, to ICE, and likely to our military as well. I don't know what to say. It's disgusting violence. It's warmongering personified. It's honestly so bad that like I struggle to put it into words, because it's more than I can imagine. It's more than like my brain is ready to make sense of. So, yeah, the document is the half that I read was disgusting warmongering. It was transphobia to the extent that like when people talk about like trans erasure and like the metaphorical genocide of trans people, I kind of see the argument, because it's kind of being explicitly legislated. Like, no, if you're trans, you do not exist or deserve or have a right to healthcare through the federally subsidized healthcare programs that we all already pay into with our taxes. So we all should have a right to access it. That was terrible. I from like a solar punk environmentalism standpoint, this is like environmental collapse, the document. It's like bad. Like the amount of biodiversity we're going to lose from the policies of this document alone are going to have effects on the rest of the world forever, probably. So, I mean, it's got every right-wing policy I can think of. It's pro-military. It's anti anyone that isn't cis white straight man from an from a rural family that's Christian or practices Judaism. Yeah, like if you're not that person, intent on raising a family, a nuclear family with a wife. If you're not that person, this document doesn't believe you exist or deserve rights, depending on how you want it to be. So, I don't know. It just kind of checks every Republican box back to back to back to back to back. Warmongering, infinite money for the rich and the violent, taking away healthcare from the poor, weird shit with the AI, weird shit with making it so the injunction process used by courts to control the executive branch are utterly and totally subverted. So if you believe in, like, it's far more right than it was 20 years ago. It's like someone took that, distilled it down into a document, and just wrote out every single policy step by step. Which, if I were a Republican, this would be the best fucking document ever. Because these are all the culture war talking points I was taught to sort of submit myself to. Even though most Republicans are also lower and middle class, like everyone, like the bottom 99%. And these policies will hurt them in horrific ways. And their children, oh God, especially generations from now. This is going to be fucked. But hopefully it doesn't pass. Let's take a look. So we are on page 683. The last thing the next section, the next big section is called what? Did I say 683? Yeah, 683. I'm gonna have to find a subtitle. Election 9004. Oh, did that just say at will employment? That's a whole different thing. 4,000, 7,000, 8,000, well, 9,004. At will employment and lower first contribution for federal civil service. Wow, okay, that's going to be on thing. So here are the sections we're going to have left for next time we stream. The Committee on Oversight and Government Reform, which sounds like Doge. The Committee on Transportation Infrastructure. Oh, that's going to suck. The Committee on Ways and Means. The One Big Beautiful Bill. I wonder why they're making Title 11 that. I guess that's when shit's going to really get crazy. Yeah, Part 1, Permanent Preventing Tax Hikes on American Families. Tax relief for American families and workers. Investing in health of American families and workers. Oh, it's going to be investing in the private sector of health. Extension of Tax Cuts and Jobs Act reform for rural Americans in Main Street. Additional tax relief for rural America and Main Street. Working families over elites. Removing taxpayer benefits for illegal immigrants. Preventing fraud, waste, and abuse. That's going to be the Doge section. Okay, so really, like, the meat of the kind of Trump and culture part of this is what's going to come after. So that kind of sucks. I kind of wish I could have gotten to that in the beginning and not the end. But as you can see, I'm extremely tired. So with that, I am going to end stream after only an hour. And I will come back stronger and ready. And honestly, preferably, I'd like my next stream of this to be like a 12-hour stream where I just knock out 200, 300 pages or something. I really want the last couple of streams of this document to be minimal. Not minimal, but I want it to only be like 3 or 4 more streams max, because I am frankly tired of this document. But it looks like some of the most important parts are still to come. So I'm going to take 2 to 3 days off, maybe 4. I don't know. What is today? Wednesday? Today's Wednesday, so I'll take off Thursday and Friday, which means I might stream Sunday or Saturday. Might push that to Monday, maybe Tuesday, just so I can enjoy my weekend. Yeah, we'll see. But then, you know, once I restart up, probably by next week, Tuesday, hopefully I'll do Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, maybe Thursday, and I will be 100% done with the document by then. That would be really good. All right, that has been me for now. I'm going to go back to living a normal life and relaxing and touching grass for some period of time. Take care. Have fun. Goodbye. We will finish this in the future. I beat Fallout 4 in like 14 hours. It's pretty good.